Hello curl friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and it's great to have you join me today. Today we are doing a Hubby Chooses video, and as it gets towards summertime, I'm doing it a little bit differently. Rather than having three categories like a cream or a leave-in conditioner and then a mousse or foam category and then a gel and custard category, those are traditionally how I categorize the sections that my husband picks from. But this time we are just doing two categories. So I'm doing a base moisturizing layer and then I'm doing more of a hold layer. And even for my base moisturizing layer, I'm looking for something that's going to give me a little bit of hold, a little bit of clumping. I'm not traditionally looking for just a leave-in conditioner. So I hope that makes sense. I think you'll get a little bit more of a feel of it as you see like the products that I give my husband to pick from and everything like that. And without further ado, let's get into the segment where my husband chooses the products and then we'll begin styling them. All right, this is a more pared down routine. So we are just doing a base layer. Dear, which one do you want to choose for my base moisturizing layer? And then which one do you want to pick for the final layer? All right, for this pick, we have the Cake the Curl Friend, the Curl Shape Data Gel Foam. And then we also have the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel, which has been discontinued. Okay, so you can see for my base layer, we have the Cake the Curl Friend. It's the Curl Shape and Stay Gel to Foam. You guys, honestly, I don't think I've picked this up since the first summer. Was it last summer? Or was it the summer before that? I think it was last summer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I should have looked at that before I came on camera or anything. But I haven't used this since I first featured it as an Influenced by the Influencer series, because Mains by Mel picked this up and did a video on it, and I was like, ooh, let me try that. I like the idea of a gel to foam. Mains by Mel had at one time helped to formulate a gel to foam type product with Verb, and I really enjoyed that at the time. Now the product has changed and everything like that, and I actually gave like my half bottle to my mom to use, and she's kept it ever since. So all that to say is I have this Cake Curl Friend, and when I first used it in the summertime, I found it to be a little more moisturizing than I would have liked. It did have some hold, but I guess I just felt like my hair was way down. I think I even went back and did another video with it. So I am just going in with 2 pumps, okay? It keeps its foamy-like consistency, but it also has some serum-likeness, okay? The foam is turning into more of a cream. Like I said, this has been a while since I've used this. It's definitely been a while. So this is going to provide me the moisture, because if I remember correctly, yes, my hair was definitely very moisturized when using this product. In the wintertime, I think this one would work out a lot better for me. But here we are. My husband picked it out for the summertime and we're gonna work with it. It's not that I can't get it to work. I think I just have to be careful with how much I go in with. I think the first time I went in with way too much. So that was partially my fault. But I was using it as a single styler at that time too. So, all right. Just trying to get this kind of dispersed a bit with my fingers. I feel good about the amount that I went in with, because I can feel a slight coating on my hair, but not much. And that's usually a good sign. Since I haven't tried this product in such a long time, since I haven't revisited, I think this is a good chance for me to just, try to play around with it a little bit more. I think I've been like a little hesitant, a little shy of using it because of my experience. Not that it was the end of the world terrible, but it was a producty feeling, if I remember correctly. And so I just need to, play with this. I need to work with it and figure out how to make it work, because I feel like it is a product that does have potential. I just personally need to figure out how to make that potential shine through, I guess. All right, even though my hair is wet, I'm going to go in with a little bit more water. I'm going to section up my hair off camera and just kind of fast forward through my brush styling. I might talk a little bit through my brush styling, but really that's something that I do every time. And so I have videos that focus a little bit more on that. But let me get this sectioned here.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play.
Okay, I almost forgot to tune back in here and just kind of update you on my thoughts here a little bit, because this, when I was doing this horseshoe section of my hair, I like to do this just because I feel like it gives my hair a little bit more lift up here when I do like these diagonal type sections a little bit. Anyways, oh, I'm struggling right now with this top section is what I'm trying to get at, because the first part, like the first two sections, I usually like kind of brush just, or I section straight and go straight back. That helps provide some volume, I feel like. But man, I feel like I should have gone in with my Tangle Teezer. But I thought of that like after the fact. I'm like, you know what? I'm already committed with this bounce curl brush. I should have gone in with my Tangle Teezer. It's just right here. Like, why was I so stubborn about not going back in and just kind of smoothing things down? Because sometimes this section will get a little tangled when it's all clipped up like that, and then I re-wet it. Oh well. Can strive to do better the next time, huh? For those of you who don't know, I love this bounce curl brush for defining, but it's not meant for detangling your hair, which is what I was essentially doing for that top section. And so it creates a little too much tension sometimes, especially when you're trying to detangle. And that area, I don't know why, I thought it looked like it was untangled. I was running my fingers through it. I was running the brush through it, you know, this way, like on the top part and on the underneath part when it was flipped over. But then when I would try to flip it back, it just felt like it was tugging so much. I don't think it would be because of this product. Like, I haven't felt that throughout my other sections of the hair. It doesn't have like super amazing slip, like extra exorbitant slip, but it was a decent enough slip. Like, I never felt any tugging really with my other sections, so I don't know what that was all about. But I do know that I want to go in with some more water to my hair, because I felt like as I've been brush styling this in, this sprayer has like the longest mist on it, but I felt like as I was brush styling it in, I just wasn't getting as much squish. I felt like my curls were clumping and they were forming, but like they weren't, they were elongating, which, you know, it's going to happen with my type of hair, but I felt like it wasn't holding the curl pattern as much as I would like to see. And usually with water, yes, it will weigh my hair down, but it also helps the curls to clump better. I've said this 1,000 times. Everybody has to find their perfect sweet spot for the amount of water that they like to style with in their hair. And for me, it just happens to be a lot. So I know my sweet spot. I can get away with it with less water, just kind of depending on the look that I want, but I prefer it with more water. Now, it's not to say that I won't scrunch some of this water out and a little bit like micro plop some of it out, and that may seem contradictory, like, Jody, you just added the water and why are you taking it back out? But I'm adding the water now to help form the curl clumps as I scrunch. That is the main reason why I'm doing it. And so I don't need it while it's like up in the wet plop, or, you know, while I'm adding this last product necessarily. Okay, let me kind of give myself a rough part to my hair. I'm going to apply this last product in the upright position, and I'm also going to flip over and do it. So when I do this in the upright position, I just roughly part my hair, just kind of wherever the curl clumps fall, but I do kind of like to get about 2 even sections here. It just helps me to apply, I feel like, the right amount of gel, but not too much gel. Some people prefer to go in with smaller sections, and that's okay. It's just, I find if I go in with smaller sections, then I tend to get too much. All right, for this next product is the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel. And I do believe this product has been discontinued. Correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, I should have looked. I was on the Curlsmith website not too long ago, but when all their packaging looks the same primarily, I kind of lose track of what's there and what's not necessarily. I liked it when they had like the different colored labels and everything like that. It made sense to me. Apparently it didn't make that much sense to them later on, but all right, why am I complaining? Okay. This is a very thin gel. This is one of those that I could definitely go in and brush style with. To me, it almost reminds me of like a serum-like consistency. This doesn't offer that much hold, but this is one of the products that my husband picked, so we're going to use it. I actually thought I was going to use that amount for both sides of my hair, but I ended up just using it on one. That's not to say that you can't get too much of this necessarily. Like I said, I don't really use this product all that much. I tend to use it as like a lighter gel application underneath a harder hold gel. So I'm not really not sure how this is going to work out. Do I need any more? I do feel like I want a little right back here. I think I am going to still flip over and apply a little bit more gel. Okay, I did mention about micro plopping and then I just didn't do it. So I think we're going to do it at this point. I am going to get a little bit of that gel product out, and that's okay because actually I had meant to go in with it a little bit differently. Sometimes I just distract myself, you know? You ever have that happen? Okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one. All right, so we've taken out a little bit of the moisture and we've also taken out a little bit of the product. So now I'm going to go in with about the same amount that I went in with initially. Just going to glaze this over. And on the underside and scrunch. Now I don't hear that squish in my curls as I'm scrunching, but that's okay. I do like the way the curl clumps look. I feel like, I'm hoping that they're gonna be juicy, nice and juicy. And taking out some of that extra water and then applying a little bit more product, I'm just hoping that this very soft hold Curlsmith Aqua Gel is just going to give me a little bit more hold. Okay, so now we're to the point where I have my wet plop on. This is a thing that I get a lot of questions on recently, especially, and I just feel like it does make a difference, a positive difference in my styling routine. So it's one of those things that I like to do. If I can't do it, if I don't have time for it, then I don't. But I feel like personally it gives me more juicier, plumpier, I don't know if that's a word, more plump curls. And I just generally like my hair better when I do it. I've mentioned this before. I've done the exact same routine within like a week of each other. So I usually wash my hair twice a week. I've done that same routine in a row, and one time I've wet plopped and one time I've not. And I just felt like my curls looked juicier and more plump. And so I will continue to do this. If you want to give it a try, go ahead. If you don't want to, then don't worry about it. It's not something like I feel like probably every curly girl needs to do. It's just something that I feel like improves my curls. I only leave this on for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you want to know more, or if you want to hear me talk a little bit more about it, I do talk about this in my diffusing video as well, and that was just like a couple weeks ago. So I'll leave that linked up in the cards for you. But now, like I said, I'm going to leave this sit on for a little bit and I will diffuse my curls. I'll be back and I'll show you the results. All right, curl friends, let's take a look at these results. What do you think? Let me show you the sides and the underneath. And of course, I will show you the back as well here in a minute. All right, you guys, I have to say, I am absolutely loving my results. I really am impressed. I guess I just didn't have the highest expectations. I didn't think like this would perform badly necessarily. I just didn't have very high expectations for my hair necessarily. And I'm really liking it. I will say this area right here is a little bit stringy. And I think that I probably just got a little too much product there. I'm going to guess it's probably the gel that I went in a little too heavy with. I don't know. It could be the mousse, but I don't know. I'm thinking it's the gel. But like this area, this little face framing piece, oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she has a lot of spring and sprung right in my eye, but it's beautiful. And I absolutely love it. And like most of my hair looks really good, except for like this little spot here. Like I said, she's just a little bit stringy. That's okay. I have a feeling as the day goes on and into tomorrow, it will kind of blend in a little bit better with the rest of the hair. I have minimal frizz, like minimal flyaways, minimal frizz throughout, good definition. Usually those things go hand in hand. If you have good definition, usually you have minimal frizz. Not always, not necessarily always, but a lot of times they go hand in hand. I have decent volume. For a person being volume challenged, I have pretty good volume, I would say. My hair feels lightweight. I'm happy to say that it does not feel producty, which is what I had experienced previously with this product. So I'm happy that's not the case this time. My moisture feels good, like it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel like dry or anything like that. It's just the right amount. So like I said, I'm loving these results. But let's go over these products individually and what I think of them, who I think that they're best for. The Cake the Curl Friend, the Gel to Foam. This one is an interesting product. I do think certain hair types do have to be careful with it. Those with finer, softer hair, even maybe looser textures with that combination of finer or softer hair finish, you could probably get away without doing this. If you have a tighter texture, if you have more dry hair, if you have a more medium or coarse hair structure, then you could probably use this. I still think less is more with this personally, especially if you're in that middle ground. Maybe if you have very coarse dry hair, go ham with this. I don't know. I really can't speak too well to that, but this is a very moisturizing product in my opinion. And for me, I just have to be careful with how much I go in with. I do think the time of year does make a difference too. At the time that I'm filming this, like we had some really warm weather. Like we had summer weather yesterday. Now it's kind of backed off and cooled off a little bit. We had cold front come through kind of, and we had some rain. So now it's like in the 60s. I haven't been outside yet, but I do plan to go to the store here in a little bit. Anyways, I'll see how it performs then. But I don't see it being an issue because my hair doesn't feel producty and weighed down like it did initially the first time I used it. The next product then, the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel. This one, as I said, I'm pretty sure has been discontinued. I should look that up. Give me a second to look that up. Okay, so I did check on the Curlsmith website, and yes, this product has been discontinued. But if you still happen to have it in your stash, if you're anything like me and have one lingering about, this is a very lightweight gel. To me, it doesn't give a ton of hold. It is one that I do feel like, though, pairs well with other holding products. So, like I said, this mousse or this gel to foam styler does have some hold to it as well. So it was like a good option to pair this with it as well, because just on its own as a holder or as a holding styler, I don't really care for it. But if I had something that has even a soft or a medium hold, it does work well. Or I could even pair this with something with like a really hard hold. I have done that before in the past. In general, this is just a product that doesn't like wow me. It doesn't excite me, but I can make it work. This is one of those gels though, because of its consistency, you can feel free to like brush style it in. Some people like to do that. I just don't particularly. I feel like generally for the most part, it makes my curls look a little bit too stringy, although I do have a little bit of the stringy look going on here. But overall, I'm impressed with this wash day results. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments down below. And until I see you again in the next video, have a great day. Bye.